What's up, guys? I traded the tilt away. And if you watch my channel, you know what's new sitting here. It's this right here. Um, the tilt was cool, but it was not this cool. This knife is awesome. Uh, didn't get on the pre-order list for it. My local shop gets pretty much everything that anybody ever makes, as long as it's not some kind of exclusive. So they got 20 of these in, and I had to get my share, so I just traded the tilt straight out for it. Kind of a loss, I think, but whatever. Traded some other stuff for a couple more of these, so I have duplicates of these, but I traded away some of my favorite knives for it. But this is now a favorite of mine, so it's all good. This, of course, is the ZT560. Didn't have the 561 in. Really like the 561 with the tan scales. I think I'll probably trade these in for the tan scales when the time comes. So I'm not going to sharpen this or anything. Pretty much an awesome knife. It's ELMAX. They say it's designed after the XM18. To me, it's more akin to the XM24 because it is so much bigger than the XM18. It's a lot bigger than the XM18. As you can tell, handle and blade and everything, it's a lot bigger. A lot bigger. It's a lot thinner too, which I do like. It doesn't appear to be all that much thinner, but it is, I promise. It's a lot thinner. It's a lot thinner in hand. It is very comfortable. The XM18 is honestly extremely comfortable. When I first held this knife, I smiled and I was like, wow, this fits my hand really good. Not because it's a Hinderer or it's my Grail knife or anything like that. It just really fits my hand superbly. So it was hard to beat that grip. Not sure the 560 beats the grip, but it's definitely just as good in its own way. One thing I do wish the 560 had was the choil. I really like the choked up grip on the Hinderer. I like being able to just stick my finger up under the flipper and I can just kind of hold it like that really loosely. I can get up on it and whittle if I need to, make really fine cuts. But it does sacrifice some cutting edge. On this, it has no choil, but you do get that extra bit of cutting edge. And I actually measured it, not just measured the blade, I ran a string from the hip, or the heel to the tip. This actually has more cutting edge than a Spyderco Military. It's not going to appear that way at first, but I definitely measured it, and it does have more cutting edge. I can do that on camera if somebody doesn't believe me, but why would I lie when it's such an easy thing to disprove? It definitely does have more cutting edge. It's not going to cut as well as a Spyderco Military just because it's not ground as thin, doesn't have so much belly, but I think this is going to be a good cutter. It's a good compromise between an XM18 and something like a slicer. And I've been wanting XM18 slicer grinds, but I don't think I'm going to get them now that I have this because this is so similar to a Hinderer slicer grind that I think I can just deal with this. Now onto this knife specifically. It is amazing. Zero Tolerance did honestly an amazing job with this knife. Like I said, my man, that sounded really strange. My dealer got 20 of these in, and I handled almost every one of them. And I could tell you, I probably handled 17 of them, about 17. I think a couple were sold already. They are extremely well built. Every single one of them was really well built. Every single one of them. The most blade play that I felt in one of them was literally just a tick, tick, tick wiggle when I wiggled it at the very tip. If you grip it down here, none. On just a couple, you had a barely imperceptible little wiggle, and of course, just a tighten on the screw would have fixed that. All of them had great lockup, early lockup. Every single one of them was centered, which when I've sampled that many knives, I've never seen that happen. Overall, they just have a really nice, strong, sturdy feel to them. When the blades close, there is no wiggle. I'm talking about no wiggle in there, and I love that. Fires out great. If you ever come to the tent, the blade will just fall. But if not, it's just a smooth ride home. It's just a really, really well-built knife. The G10 is 3D machined. The titanium is 3D machined. The first run of these did have a milled out lock bar cut right here. This is actually laser cut, so it's a more fine cut, not such of a gap. You have a deep carry pocket clip, and it rides about like that. About that much shows. Open construction. Of course, you have the flipper. Pretty big knife. Really light knife, though. I haven't weighed it, but I would say it weighs about as much as an XM18, which I think is right at 6 ounces. This may weigh a little bit more. Honestly, it's a big chunk of steel. ELMAX, if I haven't mentioned that, which I didn't do a really good cut test on this. It kind of failed the cut test really bad, but I'm going to retest it because I think there were a couple mitigating factors in that test that kind of skewed the results. So I'm going to retest this. ELMAX is not known to be a super edge holder though. ELMAX's claim to fame is toughness. Will it hold an edge well? It's supposed to. But really, edge holding is not its main purpose. Its main purpose is to withstand damage, impact, and stuff like that, which I'm sure it does very, very well. Never tested it, probably never will. Unless you guys want to send me a knife to test, I'll gladly do that on camera. Pocket clip, 4 position, tip up, tip down, left, right. Lock up. Check the lockup out. If you guys watch my last couple videos, you know that I like what you're about to see here. Boom. No radius. Just a straight linear cut. Early lockup. Early. No stick. It's a thing of beauty. Honestly. Thing of beauty. And also this is uses the thumb studs for a blade stop, which some retard was trying to tell me that Mr. Hinderer himself said that these aren't functioning thumb studs or some crap like that. Which, if that guy watches my videos, I just want to ask him, if Hinderer says these aren't thumb studs, they're solely blade stops, then ask him what is the deployment method of the XM18 non-flipper. If these aren't meant to be thumb studs, it doesn't have a nail nick, so what's the deployment method? Tell me that, smart guy. If you watch my videos. Hopefully you do. Anyway, the whole point to saying these are the blade stop is that unlike having a stop pin back here that can get peened from repeated hitting if you sling the blade out, which will cause blade play in the future, these thumb studs really aren't subject to that. The titanium really doesn't peen because you have such a large amount of surface area right here. The impact is being spread out over a pretty large area, so you really don't have to worry about it. The lockup, honestly, will probably not change that significantly for a long time. And it's right at about, I would say 30%, which is awesome. Right where I like it. Not too early, not late at all. Got plenty of room for wear. And you see that awesome linear cutout. Love it. Absolutely love it. Sorry if you were thinking this is a review. I'll name it something else. This is not a review at all. This is the new format I'm kind of doing where I just talk. I just turn on the camera and I talk, whatever comes to my mind. Hopefully it's entertaining. Not much else to say about this knife. It's incredibly smooth. The flipper is really fun to use. Built really well. I was honestly pretty surprised with this, especially after the tilt. The tilts were alright. The tilt is cool. But as far as utility, I like using my knives. I like carrying them to use. The utility of the tilt could never match this, in my opinion. Yeah, it has that box opener type tip to it, but so does this if you just angle your hand up a little bit more. And this has belly where you can make some nice cuts and slices. This knife is honestly one of my tops, honestly. Right right now it's one of my tops. 24 hours from now it could be something else, but right now it's one of my favorites, and it is a big knife. A very big knife. As you can see, the military, let's line them up. That's probably about even. Almost as big as a military. I do like that it has more cutting edge than the military and a smaller overall package. That means the handle to blade ratio is better, and also the blade to cutting edge ratio is better. The military has this 50-50 choil, which eats up some of the cutting edge, but it's just that the Millie's handle is so big. It makes for a much bigger knife with still a lot of cutting edge, but the ZT beats it, which is kind of a hard feat. I think the Benchmade 710 beats the military, and this beats it. I'm not sure what else does, because there's not much out there that even competes with it. Centering, almost perfect. I've tweaked the pivot of this one a little bit, so it's probably a little off, but it's almost dead on perfect. It could stand to go towards the non-locking side just a little bit. The pocket clip is really strong, which I like, especially with clips like this. Deep carry pocket clips, if they don't have really strong retention, tend to feel loose to me because they'll kind of bounce up and down like that. Don't like it, so this strong retention is necessary to me to keep it from bouncing too much. The 3D machining is beautiful in my opinion. I really like it a lot. Nice texture. It's not sharp or anything, it's just got nice texture. Nice looking bead blast. I think that's bead blast. Could be stonewash. The jimping up top is kind of reminiscent of a Hinderer. Honestly, I like the blade a lot. It's got a nice lean grind. A lot thinner. I haven't measured it because I don't have the instrument needed to measure it, but it feels, it's going to sound weird, but I have pretty trained fingers. I do this a lot. I can kind of feel when a blade is thick just after handling hundreds of them, possibly thousands, probably in the thousands. You can feel what's thick and what's thin. You can notice really minute changes in thickness. This gets thick right here. There's a little hump right here, so it starts thinning out back here. It's not a hump, so this isn't thinner than the front, but it's just full thickness until it starts thinning out. But at the cutting edge, sorry I stopped. See if you can hear this. Can you hear that? That's my little puppy, Remy, sleeping. He's dreaming. He always barks when he dreams. It's the cutest thing in the world. Does get a lot thinner than the 551 and the 550, so I think it'll cut better. And the edge, the factory edge was superb. Honestly, really, really, really good. Check out the bevel thickness on this side. He's really dreaming. That's funny. Then check out the bevel thickness on this side. It's almost perfect. And then at the tip, if it was really off, you'd be able to see it, but it's just a nice even edge. Really, really, really great knife, guys. If you want one, I suggest getting it. It is a regular production knife. Going to be hard to find right now, I imagine. It's selling out everywhere. But it's a regular production piece, so it's going to be like the Para 2. It was really hard to find for 2 months or so, and then everybody and their mother had it. So you'll get it if you want it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry for making it so long and rambling, but if you like the rambling, then I'll keep doing it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.